All right, I will say good morning, good morning. Let us continue. We are continuing today in Mesillas Yesharim in Perek Yud Tes, chapter 19. The Ramchal says as follows: V'hinei be'arnu ad heina chasidus mashetali b'maisa. So remember again, up until this point in time, we've really been focused on the actional components of chasidus. Literally, actionally, how one is supposed to act, what one is supposed to do. Va'ofen ha'asiyah. See, he says, v'nuvar ata hatali b'kavana. Now we're going to shift focus a little bit and go from actional chasidus to kavana, to concentration, or more specifically, the intent that a chassid has to have. And this is quite beautiful. He says, We've already spoken about before the concept of l'shma and shalol l'shma. Remember again the performance of a mitzvah for its intended purpose versus a shalol l'shma. Let's talk about this. Amdam v'adei shemishim eskaben ba'avodaso letar nafsho lifnei bor'o leman tizke l'sheves es pana bichlal yisharim v'chasidim lachzos b'noma shel l'laker beichalo kabel hagmul asher ba'olam haba. So let's take the following scenario. Let's talk about a person who serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, if you ask him, why does he serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So listen to this. I serve Hashem in order to purify my soul, in order that in Meretz Hashem, after 120, when I go to Olam Haba, I will be zochet to sit in close proximity to the Shekhinah, together with all of the tzaddikim of previous generations. And so if you were to stop someone on the street and you were to ask them, why do you perform this? So they were to give you this question, what would you say about such a person? They were to give you this answer. What would you say about such a person? Pious, right? Incredible. I'm doing mitzvahs to purify my neshama so that after 120, ultimately I could sit in close proximity and enjoy the beautiful, holy, luminescent countenance of the Ribbon Shalom together with all the tzaddikim. Absolutely incredible. Says Ramchal something very interesting. Says, Lo nuchal lomar shetzia kavana zura. I can't say that this is a bad kavana, right? This is not bad. Achein lo nuchal lomar gam ken shetzia yoser tova. But I also can't say that it's the best kavana. Why? Ki ad sha'adam miskavin letovas atzmo sof avodas letzorach atzmo. I will say this is so profound. At the end of the day, when a person gives this answer, I will say, think this through. Person gives this answer. Who is he serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu for? Right? At the end of the day, it's himself. Now, while the church, I want to point out, it's not to receive reward in this world. Right? It's not that I want more money, I want more this, I want more that. Right? But at the end of the day, what's motivating me is what I want. Granted, over here, it's a much loftier personal aspiration. It's what I want in the afterlife. It's what I want ultimately, again, for my neshama. But l'maisa, it's about me. I would say it's such a profound idea. It's just about sof avodas l'tzorach atzmo. At the end of the day, what's motivating me is me. He goes on, he says, it shows, by the way, sometimes you read something like this and think to yourself, oh my gosh, I wish I was on that level. Right? What Ramchal just kind of explained as, that's not bad, but it's also not the ideal. For me to be on that level where my motivation is a desire to be close to Hashem in the afterlife, that's gold. And it's okay. In other words, sometimes in life, the most important thing is I have to frame the ultimate goal, even if I have to create a recognition, an understanding of what my ultimate goal is, even if I'm nowhere near it right now. Right? So look, so what is the ultimate goal? Kavana hamit is the true kavana, hamitzuyi b'chasidim. What's the kavana that a chassid would have? Remember again, this is the shara chasidus. So at the end of the day, what's the kavana that a chassid would have? Asher tarchu v'ishtadlu lasiga, hushia adam oved rak leman asher kvodo shel adon asher kvodo shel adon baruch hu yigdal v'yirveh. Rabbi say, why does a chassid serve? A chassid serves in order to amplify the kavod of Hashem. So when the chassid does mitzvahs, when the chassid learns Torah, when the chassid does chesed, it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do for what he's going to gain in this world or the next. When the chassid serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he does so because his service of God amplifies the kavod and the honor of the Ribono Shel Olam. When I do mitzvos in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's his presence, his essence becomes amplified in this world and to all those around me. That's why the chassid serves. Because my service is an amplification of the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, obviously there's a progression. What did we speak about in the preceding section? What did we speak about? We spoke about Avas Hashem, and what it means to love Hashem, and the three different appendages of Ava. So obviously, it's only after you fall in love with God that you want to serve Him for the sake of amplifying His greatness and His presence. And ultimately, a person has a desire, and he wants the amplification of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's greatness or His honor. I'll call Shimait Meno. And again, as we spoke about yesterday in Kanos, and I'm upset when there's any diminution or degradation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kavod. Ki az ya'avod avodos l'tach l'zeh. Shalafachos mitzido yekvodo yisparach miskadal. These avesh shekol sha'ar b'nei adam yiyu kimokin. So I will say, this is absolutely beautiful. So here, so just to frame this again, the Ramchal is telling us, in Chasidus now we're focusing on what is the kavana. When a person has reached the level of Chasidus, what is the kavana? What is the intent of a Chasid when he serves Hashem? So the intent of a tzaddik, right? The intent of a tzaddik would be, think about this world. The intent of a tzaddik would be for Olam Haba, for the world to come. I want my neshama to have a place, a closeness to the Ribbon Shalom. But a Chasid, Chasid realizes, as beautiful as that is, that's still self-serving. That's still self-serving. The Chassid says, I serve Hashem, it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. It's not about me. It's about the fact that I'm in love with my God, and I want to do whatever I can to make His presence greater and to make His presence more well-known in this world. That's why I do what I do. I want to amplify His kavod. And when I do what's expected of me, when I do my mitzvahs, my Torah, my chesed, my tzedakah, ultimately, that amplifies His greatness. It's absolutely incredible. He says, V'yitztar, and again, and obviously, my extended goal, is that I want everyone around me to do the same thing as well. And therefore, V'yitztar, v'yisanach al kol ma shemematim shar b'nei adam. And therefore, again, it distresses me when I see other people not living up to their potential, or other people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I will say, and ultimately again, I'm also disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in myself when I don't live up to my own expectations of me. Whether that's because of shogeg, right, accidental, right, or accidents in life, ones, extenuating circumstances, or chulshas hateva. So chulshas hateva ultimately is, what's chulshas hateva? I'm tired, right? I'm just tired. So it's distressing to me. And as I will say, this is also, by the way, what you begin to see is this is the chassid. So I will say, look what the chassid is upset about. The chassid is upset, see, because if I don't live up to my potential, that means HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kavod, His honor, is not as amplified in this world as it could be. And I'm disappointed if I don't do my part, even if it's because of a shogeg, or an ones, or because I'm tired, which are all things that one could so easily rationalize as being beyond one's control. Yet the chassid holds himself to this high expectation. Asher kashalo l'shamra min achatam b'cholis kinyin hakasav ki adam ein tzadik baris asher ya'aseh tov lo yechta shalom alach reitzin koheles. There is no person in this world, no matter how righteous, who doesn't end up sinning. But the chassid is distressed when he doesn't live up to his potential. Because at the end of the day, failure to live up, see, I will say, here's what's interesting. In the tzaddik's view, when he doesn't live up to his potential, so ultimately again, who's suffering? Himself, right? In other words, I'm not getting as much schar, my olam haba is not going to be the same. When the chassid doesn't live up to his potential, what is he concerned about? That the kavod of Hashem is not as amplified as it could be. I'm not making God's presence as palpable, as well known in this world as it could be. He goes on, he says, V'davar zeh be'eruah b'tanat be'eliyol zachor latov amru kol chacham Yisrael sheyesh bo dvar Torah la'amito U'misanech al kavodah shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'al kavodah shel Yisrael kol yamav. You're supposed to listen to this. Any Chacham, any Talmid Chacham who has Torah, right? Literally again, the footnote says, Shezach lekinyona shel Torah be'emes. In other words, a person who's really acquired Torah. And ultimately, again, misaneach means he sighs, right, on the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is not as it could be. And on the kavod of Klal Yisrael that is not as it could be. U'mis'ave u'meitzu l'chvod Yerushalayim v'chvod Beis HaMikdash. And the person desires to see the restored honor of Yerushalayim, the restored honor of the Beis HaMikdash, and he desires to see messianic redemption, the ingathering of the exiles, Zocha l'Ruach HaKodesh b'dvarav. Ultimately, again, is Zocha to a state of Ruach HaKodesh. It turns out that we learn, so we'll say, what do you see from here? What do you see from this medrash? The medrash is describing someone, and we'll say, if you notice, what's missing from the description of this great Chacham? Anything to do with himself. Right? We'll see that in just a moment also. Also, anything to do with himself. Right? There's nothing self-serving in this. There is no, I'm doing what I'm doing because I want a good life in this world, or I'm doing what I'm doing because I want a good life in the world to come. None of that is here. Rather, I will say, what's stated over here? Just the desire to see the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu amplified, a desire to see the greatness of Klal Yisrael amplified, a desire ultimately again to see Mashiach, to see the ingathering. So he goes on, he says, Nimseis Lamed Shezosia Kavana Ma'ula Shirachokal Gam Kalanos Atzmo. This is a hana that has nothing to do with me. Rather, it's all about the cover of Hashem, the sanctification of His great name, because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's covenant itself becomes amplified when we do what is expected of us, when we fulfill His will. About this we said, who is a chassid? Hamischased im konos. So absolutely beautiful. One, ultimately again, who performs chesed with his creator. I will say, how does one perform chesed with his creator? It's so beautiful. How do you perform chesed with your creator? By ultimately doing for him and allowing his kavod to be amplified. Shabbos say, what comes out over here is something really incredibly amazing. So here, just to kind of bring this together. So the Ramchal is now introducing us to the concept of chasidus in the realm of kavana. Up until now, we've been focusing on chasidus in the realm of action, actional chasidus. What's chasidus in the realm of kavana? So chasidus in the realm of kavana, about what motivates me. What's my motivation in my avodas Hashem? So remember again, whereas the tzaddik, so also remember again, in the tzaddik model, what's motivating me for my avodas Hashem? So I try to go ahead and transcend a desire to get reward in this world. So the tzaddik is all about the fact that if I serve Hashem in this world, what'll happen? I'll have a beautiful Gan Eden, a beautiful Olam Haba. The chassid understands that's beautiful, but, what's the but? The but is even that's self-serving. It's about me. The chassid says, my avodas Hashem is not me. My avodas Hashem is not me at all. My avodas Hashem simply is about doing what I can to amplify the presence and the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. That's my job. To make Hashem beloved in the eyes of others, to make Hashem felt in the heart of others, and to make HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence known in this world. If I'm able to do that, says the Chassid, then that is a life well lived. I will say, it's interesting, because we'll stop over for today, but I think often, we associate, this type of stuff. I will say, who do you associate this type of concept with, very often? With Chabad, right? It's interesting, right? This idea of making Hashem known, right? Standing by the street corners, handing out Shabbos candles, putting on tefillin. I will say, it is interesting when one learns that, while it's true that certain movements do this, it's actually the job of every Jew. The job of every single Jew who wants to be a chassid is to make Hashem's presence known in the world. Now, the difference is, you don't have to do that by going out and speaking to God about others if you don't want to. You don't have to do that. But the way I do it is simply by doing my thing, by performing my mitzvos, by learning my Torah, by doing my tzedakah, by doing my chesed, by living a life of commitment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just by the way that I live, I make HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence known in this world. An incredible, incredible idea. We'll stop over here.